Every life has a story. Some are told, others wait to be revealed. Stay with us. This is Daily Dose.
What happens when you pay for something beautiful and receive something that cannot even do the one thing it was made to do? Not something damaged in shipping, not something slightly off from the picture on the website, but something fundamentally, irreversibly broken at its core. Something that was never going to work, no matter how carefully you opened the box, no matter how much you believed in the name printed on the label. What does that moment feel like? When anticipation turns to confusion, and confusion slowly hardens into the realization that you have been sold an empty promise wrapped in luxury packaging. This is a story about candles, but it is also a story about trust, about the distance between a brand and the person behind it, about what happens when marketing language replaces actual quality, and about the quiet fury of ordinary people who spent their money in good faith and received nothing usable in return. Welcome to Daily Dose, and this is the unraveling of Meghan Markle's American Riviera Orchard. It started the way most modern consumer disasters start, quietly. A post here, a photo there. Someone on social media sharing an image of a candle they had just received in the mail. A luxury candle purchased from Meghan Markle's lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard. The candle looked fine from the outside. Beautiful packaging, elegant design, the kind of product that photographs well and feels expensive in your hands. But when the customer went to light it, something was wrong. There was no wick, no flame to coax into life, no warm glow to fill the room. Just a solid cylinder of scented wax sitting in a glass container, completely and utterly useless. Most people who saw that first post probably scrolled past it. A candle without a wick sounds like a joke. It sounds like something someone made up for attention, or maybe a one-in-a-million manufacturing error that slipped through the cracks. These things happen in any industry. A single defective product is not a scandal. It is a footnote, but then another post appeared, and another after that. Different customers, different states, different order dates, different shipping addresses, and yet the same impossible problem. Candles arriving without the one component that makes a candle a candle. This was not a single defective unit sneaking past quality control. This was a pattern. A widespread, consistent, deeply troubling pattern of customers receiving products that could not perform their most basic function. And here is the detail that makes this particularly difficult to explain away. These were not wickless candles designed for wax warmers or decorative purposes. We know this because printed directly on the bottom of each candle were clear instructions telling the user to always trim the wick to 1/4 of an inch. That text confirms, without any ambiguity, that these products were specifically designed to be lit. They were meant to have wicks. The manufacturer knew it. The brand knew it. The instructions assumed it. And yet candle after candle arrived in customers' homes without one. Some buyers opened their boxes to find a neat hole running down the center of the wax, as if the wick was supposed to be threaded through during production, but someone simply forgot. An empty tunnel going straight through the candle, leading nowhere, serving no purpose. Others received solid blocks of wax with no hole at all. No wick, no channel for a wick, no indication that a wick had ever been part of the plan. Just a heavy, fragrant, completely non-functional object sitting in a jar that cost $64. $64, that number matters. It changes the entire texture of this story. If these were $5 candles from a discount store, the reaction would be different. People would be annoyed, sure, but the stakes would feel lower. A $5 mistake is frustrating. A $64 mistake feels like something else entirely. It feels like a betrayal of the implicit agreement between a luxury brand and its customers. When you charge premium prices, you are not just selling a product. You are selling a promise of quality, of care, of attention to every detail. You are asking people to trust that the extra money they are spending is justified by something real, something tangible, something they can feel the moment they open the box. To put that price in perspective, you could walk into almost any home goods store in the country and buy multiple candles that actually work for less than $64. You could purchase well-known, well-reviewed candles from established brands and still have money left over for dinner. But these customers did not do that. They chose American Riviera Orchard. They chose Meghan Markle's name. They believed the marketing about luxury and elevated living. They expected something special. And what they received was an expensive paperweight that smells vaguely like something. And speaking of scent, there is another layer to this story that deserves attention. The signature fragrance of these candles is marketed as California Poppy. It sounds beautiful. It sounds evocative. It conjures images of golden hillsides and warm Pacific breezes. But here is the problem that people who actually live in California have pointed out repeatedly. California poppies have almost no natural fragrance. They are visually stunning flowers, the kind that make people pull their cars over on the highway just to take photographs. But they do not really smell like anything. Which means that even if your $64 candle had arrived with a functioning wick, you would still be burning wax scented after a flower that barely has a scent in real life. It is a strange choice for a signature product, and it raises questions about how much thought actually went into the development of these candles beyond the branding and the price tag. But the missing wicks and the questionable scent are only part of this story. What happened next is where things shifted from a product quality issue into something that felt much more serious. Because when customers realized they had received defective merchandise, they did exactly what any reasonable person would do. They reached out to customer service. They submitted tickets through the official website. They sent emails. They requested replacements or refunds. This is the basic social contract of commerce. You receive a faulty product, you contact the company, and they make it right. It is not complicated. It is not unreasonable. It is the bare minimum of what any business should provide. Except nothing happened. Report after report confirmed that the brand's customer service was essentially non-existent. Some buyers received generic automated replies that did not address their specific complaints. Others never heard back at all. Their emails disappeared into a void. Their tickets went unanswered. Their requests for refunds were either denied outright or simply ignored, as if the company hoped that silence would make the problem go away. And then came the detail that turned frustration into outrage. According to multiple sources, the American Riviera Orchard website operates under a strict no-refund policy. No refunds, for any reason. Which means that if you spent $64 on a candle and it arrived without a wick, without the ability to perform its single intended function, the brand's official position was that this was your problem. Not theirs, yours. Keep your useless wax cylinder and move on with your life. One buyer documented their entire customer service experience on camera. They went through the official website, selected the option indicating their item arrived damaged, explained the issue clearly and professionally. The response was a form asking for their order number. After providing it, they received nothing helpful. No solution, no acknowledgement of the defect, no offer to replace the product, just silence. When you position yourself as a luxury brand and charge luxury prices, customer service is not optional. It is the foundation upon which the entire experience is built. And when that foundation crumbles, everything built on top of it comes crashing down. Here at Daily Dose, we try to look at stories from every angle to understand not just what happened, but what it means. And what this situation means extends far beyond one brand and one product. It touches on something fundamental about the relationship between consumers and the companies that ask for their trust and their money. But before we get to the bigger picture, there is one more detail that puts this entire situation into devastating perspective. A story surfaced about a Netflix employee who was leaving the company. As part of their departure, they reportedly received what was described as a trash bag full of leftover promotional items. Random swag, unwanted merchandise, things the company simply wanted to clear out of storage. And inside that bag were American Riviera Orchard products, including candles. Netflix, a major corporate entity that had been directly tied to Meghan Markle through content deals, was giving away her brand's products as employee junk. Not as premium gifts for valued clients, not as carefully selected items for special occasions. just things to get rid of. And the candle in that bag was also reportedly wickless, which means Netflix had these defective products sitting in storage, apparently knew they were not worth keeping, and tossed them into bags for departing employees as an afterthought. This happened in the wake of Netflix cutting ties, with Meghan Markle following what has been described as disastrous performance numbers for her programming. Her show reportedly ranked beyond 1,200 on Netflix's internal charts. It was outperformed by decade-old reruns. It was beaten by children's cartoons with virtually no marketing budget. Netflix wanted distance, and judging by how they treated the merchandise associated with the partnership, they wanted that distance immediately and completely. When your major corporate partner is quietly dumping your products as leftover trash, that tells you everything you need to know about how the market perceives your brand's value. And this is where the contradictions become impossible to ignore. Meghan Markle has repeatedly described herself in interviews as someone with extreme attention to detail. She has positioned herself as a hands-on entrepreneur who personally oversees what goes out under her name. She has used the phrase, according to reporting, that she has a freaky eye for detail. Those are powerful words. They create an image of someone who cares deeply about quality, who would never let a substandard product reach a customer's doorstep. But how do you reconcile that image with candles shipping without wicks? Not once, not as a rare anomaly, but repeatedly across different orders to different customers in different parts of the country. There are only two possible explanations, and neither one reflects well. Either she is not actually involved in quality control at all, which would mean that all those public claims about being hands-on and detail-oriented are simply marketing language with no substance behind it. Or she is involved in quality control and somehow missed that her signature candles are missing their most essential component, which makes the entire freaky eye for detail narrative very difficult to take seriously. A candle is not a complicated product. It has existed for thousands of years. It requires 4 basic things: wax, fragrance, a container, and a wick. Somehow, again and again, one of those 4 essentials was not making it into the final product. That points to either a catastrophic breakdown in manufacturing that nobody caught before shipping, or something potentially worse. The possibility that the issue was known and products were sent out anyway. The legal implications of this situation are significant and growing. When a company sells defective products at premium prices and then refuses to issue refunds, several serious consequences come into play. The Federal Trade Commission handles complaints related to deceptive or unfair business practices, and selling a product marketed as a functional candle that cannot actually function as a candle could fall directly under their oversight. If enough formal complaints are filed, an investigation becomes a real possibility. There is also the risk of a class action lawsuit, which is designed for exactly this kind of situation, where multiple customers are affected by the same defective product from the same company. State-level consumer protection laws add another layer of exposure, with many states having extremely strict rules about selling defective products and refusing refunds. And then there are chargebacks. When customers dispute charges with their credit card companies after receiving defective merchandise, the merchant does not just lose the sale. They also get hit with processing fees. And if enough chargebacks accumulate, payment processors can step in and cut the merchant off entirely. For a brand that relies on direct-to-consumer online sales, that would be devastating. And yet, despite all of this, despite the mounting complaints and the legal exposure and the reputational damage spreading across social media, reports suggest that Meghan Markle is planning to expand the American Riviera Orchard brand into the United Kingdom. The same brand that cannot reliably ship functional candles in the United States. The same brand whose customer service has been described as non-existent. The same brand whose products were reportedly treated as disposable garbage by its biggest corporate partner. That brand is apparently planning to enter a market where Meghan Markle is significantly less popular than she is in America, where consumer protection laws are stricter, where enforcement is faster, and where established competitors with genuine heritage and proven quality already dominate the luxury goods space. the idea of expanding internationally while fundamental domestic operations remain broken defies basic business logic. Expansion does not hide existing problems. It magnifies them. It makes them louder, more visible, and exponentially more expensive to deal with. Every new market you enter is a new set of regulations to comply with, a new set of consumers to satisfy, a new set of potential legal consequences if things go wrong. And right now, things are going very wrong. This is not an isolated incident. The wickless candles are the latest entry in what has become a growing list of serious concerns. There have been reports of products appearing to sell out instantly on launch day, followed by waves of order cancellations. There have been ongoing quality complaints across different product categories. There has been the collapse of the Netflix partnership that was supposed to propel the brand into mainstream consciousness. And through all of it, there has been a consistent thread of unresponsive customer service, defective merchandise, refused refunds, and silence where there should be accountability. At a certain point, these issues stop looking like bad luck or unfortunate coincidences. They start looking like a pattern, and patterns are exactly what regulators pay attention to, what lawyers pay attention to, what consumers, once they start comparing notes, pay very close attention to. This story matters even if you have never purchased an American Riviera Orchard product and never intend to. It matters because it is a case study in what happens when a brand prioritizes image over substance, when marketing language replaces operational reality, when premium pricing is not backed by premium quality. It matters because consumer protection laws exist for exactly these scenarios, and those laws only mean something when people actually use them. Every purchase you make from any company is an act of trust. You are trusting that business to deliver what they promised. You are trusting them to stand behind their products. You are trusting them to treat you fairly if something goes wrong. When that trust is violated, the consequences should be real and meaningful. The questions that remain unanswered are straightforward but critical. Who is actually overseeing quality control? Why is customer service completely unresponsive? Where are these products being manufactured and under what standards? Why does a blanket no-refund policy exist for defective merchandise? And who approved international expansion while these fundamental problems remain unresolved? Here at Daily Dose, we believe these are the kinds of questions that deserve answers. Not because this is about one celebrity or one brand, but because it is about something larger. It is about the basic contract between businesses and the people who support them. It is about whether luxury means something real or whether it is just a word printed on expensive packaging. It is about accountability in an era where a famous name can launch a product line and millions of people will buy in on faith alone. The luxury market operates on trust more than almost any other industry. When you pay premium prices, you are buying more than a physical object. You are buying the assurance that someone cared enough to get every detail right. That someone checked and double-checked. That someone would be horrified if a defective product ever reached your hands. Break that trust, and the entire value proposition collapses. The candle is no longer worth $64. The brand is no longer aspirational. The name on the label is no longer a guarantee of anything. Recovery is theoretically possible. Any brand can come back from a crisis if the right steps are taken quickly enough. Public acknowledgement of the problem, unconditional refunds for every affected customer, a comprehensive product recall, an overhaul of customer service operations, independent audits of manufacturing processes, a pause on all expansion plans until existing operations are stabilized. These are the steps that would signal genuine accountability and a real commitment to doing better. Whether American Riviera Orchard will take any of them remains to be seen. Based on everything that has unfolded so far, the signs are not encouraging. The complaints continue to spread. The documentation continues to pile up. The pattern continues to grow rather than shrink. And somewhere out there, in homes across the country, $64 candles sit on shelves and countertops, beautiful and silent and cold. Objects that were supposed to fill rooms with warmth and light, sitting in the dark instead, unable to do the one thing they were created to do. And maybe that is the image that stays with you after all of this. Not the legal exposure, or the corporate partnerships falling apart, or the expansion plans that make no sense, but something simpler and sadder. A person opening a box they were excited about, reaching inside with anticipation, and finding something that looks exactly like what they wanted but will never, ever work. Because that is what broken trust feels like, is it not? It looks perfect from the outside. The packaging is flawless. The label is beautiful. The promise is everything you hoped for. But when you reach for the thing that matters most, the thing that is supposed to bring light into the room, there is nothing there. Just an empty space where something essential was supposed to be. And no one on the other end of the phone to tell you why.
If this story moved you, leave a like and subscribe. Share it with someone who needs to know. The truth continues tomorrow. Until then, this was your daily dose